Okay, thanks everybody for coming today. I'm Mayor Coss, and I'm proud to be hosting this press conference today about a program that Somos Pueblo, Unido, some interfaith groups, the Attorney General, and the City of Santa Fe, and the Central Labor Council are all engaged in on the issue of wage theft. You know, the business community in Santa Fe, the City of Santa Fe, everybody has worked really hard around good jobs in Santa Fe. We have a living wage that you probably saw in the paper today that's going to cause us some issues going forward, but we've all worked as community for good jobs in Santa Fe, and yet we find that some employers, for whatever set of reasons, are failing to pay wages, which takes away from everything that all of us together, business, community, and government, have done. And so when I was approached on this issue of wage theft, I was really happy to support that effort, and I'm really pleased that the Attorney General's office is supporting the effort as well. And so I'll be available for questions from a city perspective, but I wanted to ask the Reverend Holly Beaumont. She's even almost got a collar today. It's a turtleneck, but to come and give the introduction and talk about the campaign to end wage theft.
Thank you, Mayor, and welcome everybody. Thank you for gathering with us this morning. In the last census report, we learned that New Mexico is slipping deeper and deeper into poverty. Now over 20% of the men, women, and children in the state of New Mexico live in poverty. And we learned that in just a one-year period, from 2009 to 2010, the poverty level in New Mexico increased by 2%. So if we continue at that rate, we are in deep trouble as a people in New Mexico. We know there are many causes of poverty, and we feel overwhelmed at times with our inability to reverse that trend. Wage theft is not in that category. In 2009, the state of New Mexico passed a law that makes wage theft in New Mexico illegal. And we realize that once you pass a law, that's just the first step. The next step is to really educate and rally the community, and to provide the support for the heroes in this cause, who are the workers, who, without workers coming forward and reporting their experiences with employers who are stealing their wages, there is absolutely no way that we can eliminate wage theft without our workers. What our workers need most is a community that is fully aware of the problem, the law, and is committed to supporting workers when they take that stand against unscrupulous employers. We also know that the vast majority of employers in the state of New Mexico follow the law, treat their workers well with ethical personnel policies. And so we're also giving those businesses an opportunity to join this campaign with the Ethical Business Leaders Campaign. And we're very pleased that the Santa Fe Alliance was the first business organization to endorse this campaign. We are also very pleased that our Attorney General, Gary King, enthusiastically welcomed this campaign, knowing that his job is going to be much easier if he has the community, faith, labor, business, community services, all behind him in addressing this issue. And so we're very honored that Gary King sent his Deputy Attorney General, Stuart Bluestone, to address us this morning. Stuart.
Thank you, Reverend Beaumont, Mayor Coss, and everybody else who's here. It's a pleasure to be here representing Attorney General Gary King in endorsing this statewide effort to let people know about the law that we have on the books that has been enacted just in 2009. Prior to that, there was a law that provided for opportunities to bring actions if overtime wasn't paid. But the law was significantly expanded in 2009 to provide for any failure to pay the wages that are due to workers. And the law provides for enforcement by the main state labor office, which is the Labor Relations Division of what's called now the Department of Workforce Solutions. And it also provides that every district attorney in the state shall assist that state department in enforcing the law. And the Attorney General is committed to doing what he can to help provide that education program that first needs to be started to let people know about the new law and to lend his office in full support of full compliance with the law. And it's just a pleasure for Attorney General King to have been approached by the Interfaith Alliance Group and to lend his office's support to this effort. I think there will also be a memorial that will be introduced in our state legislature in the session that begins here in January of 2012. And that will be another important role in getting the education effort underway statewide. And we just look forward to working with everybody who is committed to securing the wages for everybody who is entitled to them. Thank you very much.
Now we have presented resolutions to the Santa Fe City Council, and that will be received this evening. And we're looking forward to the City Council considering endorsing this campaign after they have considered how best to do that. We also have a resolution that will be presented at the December 13th meeting of the Santa Fe County, and County Commissioner Kathy Holian has agreed to sponsor it, and she wanted to be with us this morning and is not able, and so she did send this statement, which I would like to read. Wage theft is probably not something that people think happens here in Santa Fe County, but it does. Unfortunately, most of the businesses and employers in our area are ethical, but there is a minority that take advantage of their workers. I have heard of instances where workers are asked to clock out and not be paid when there are no customers, even though they have to stay on the job. Another example is when employers figure out clever ways for people to work overtime, yet not pay them for overtime. The cost of living is high in Santa Fe County. As it is difficult for workers in our community to make ends meet. Wage theft makes life all that much harder. It can even be the final straw that forces them to leave. Businesses that practice wage theft are not only acting unethically, they are also taking unfair advantage of their competitors in the marketplace. To bring awareness to the issue, I am sponsoring a resolution before the Santa Fe Board of County Commissioners. This resolution supports efforts by community, labor, and faith organizations, the New Mexico Attorney General, the New Mexico Department of Workforce Solutions, and the U.S. Department of Labor to eliminate the practice of wage theft throughout the state of New Mexico. This resolution will be heard at our December 13th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners starting at 2 p.m. in the county building on Palace and Grant, and I'll make that an official invitation to all of us to be present. We're also very pleased that Labor has stepped up to endorse this campaign enthusiastically. The first labor group to do that was Northern New Mexico Central Labor Council, and the president of that organization, Jennifer Garcia, is with us this morning. Jennifer?
I just want to thank everyone for coming out. The thing that I want to, why we endorsed this resolution was because we're all about working families, and where it begins is at home and educating our workers and our community of why this is very important to Santa Feans and to a lot of Norteños that we represent. I am the president of the Central Labor Council for the Northern New Mexico, and I'm just very proud to be here this afternoon and supporting this. Thank you.
I want to quickly read a list of some of the organizations that have endorsed the campaign at this point. As I mentioned, Santa Fe Alliance, the Santa Fe Community Foundation, Northern New Mexico Central Labor Council, District 1199 National Union Hospital and Healthcare Employees, the Central New Mexico Labor Council, the American Association of University Women New Mexico Center on Law and Poverty, Chainbreaker New Mexico, St. Elizabeth Shelter for the Homeless, New Mexico Voices for Children, Santa Maria de la Paz Catholic Community, First Presbyterian Church of Santa Fe Mission and Social Justice Committee, St. Bede's Episcopal Church Justice and Peace Committee, Santa Fe Friends Meeting, and the Church of Antioch. At this time, I want to introduce Alma Castro, who is the Somos and Pueblo Unido community organizer, so that she can introduce the workers who are here to testify this morning.
Thank you, Holly. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. As we've heard, wage theft is happening in our city and all over our state. Wage theft is a crime that often goes unreported and unprosecuted. It occurs when employers don't pay the minimum wage, don't pay overtime, and require employees to work off the clock or fail to disperse final paychecks. Workers are being forced to work long hours for little pay, and employers are being allowed to continue illegal practices without consequence. It has taken over 6 months for workers to recuperate their stolen wages. Meanwhile, businesses are allowed to file for bankruptcy and open new businesses under new names. And we'll talk a little bit more about this when workers come up and testify about their stories. Wage theft has disproportionately impacted low-wage working families that live paycheck to paycheck, especially during tough economic times. Yet the non-payment of or underpayment of wages to workers not only affects the individual, but everyone in our community. When workers don't receive the money that they've earned, they spend less in our local economy and often have to rely on emergency public services and charities to make ends meet. Employers who engage in this unscrupulous and illegal behavior undercut businesses that are following the rules. Today we'll hear from a couple workers who are an essential part of Santa Fe's workforce, and they'll talk about their stories. So, por favor, Carlos y Manuel.
Bueno, muy buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Carlos Delgado y yo soy miembro del Comité de Trabajadores de Somos un Pueblo Unido.
Good morning to everybody. My name is Carlos Delgado and I am a member of the Somos un Pueblo Unido Workers Committee.
También soy víctima de robo de salario.
I am also a victim of wage theft.
Y les comento un poco de lo que me pasó a mí.
I want to tell you a little bit about what happened to me.
Aún teniendo la ley a mi favor y una decisión por parte del Estado de Nuevo México,
Still, after having the law in my favor and having a decision by New Mexico Workforce Solutions,
no he recuperado el dinero por el cual trabajé tanto.
I still have not recovered the money that I have worked so hard for.
Necesitamos la ayuda del Comité de Fe de Santa Fe, la ciudad de Santa Fe y el Estado de Nuevo México en apoyar trabajadores que luchan por sus derechos.
We need support from the community of faith, from the city of Santa Fe and from the state of New Mexico to help workers who are trying to make their, to help ensure their rights.
Y quisiera añadir también que no solamente me ha sido robado a mí, sino tengo niños de 4 y 6 de edad.
Not only have they stolen from me, but I have children that are 4 and 6 years old.
Que se les quitó su comida y tuve tiempos muy difíciles hace un año y todavía estoy peleando.
That not only did they not have food, but we went through very difficult times, and I'm still fighting for the money I'm owed.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Muy buenos días a todos.
Good morning to everybody.
Mi nombre es Manuel Antonio Esteves
My name is Manuel Antonio Esteves,
y represento el Comité de Trabajadores de Chainstar.
and I represent the Workers' Committee of China Star.
Por casi un año
For almost a year,
estamos organizando para mejorar la situación laboral,
we have been organizing to better our working condition,
no solo en Chainstar, pero para todos los trabajadores
not only for the workers at China Star, but for all workers
que sufren abusos por parte de sus patrones.
that are suffering abuses by part of their employers.
Seguimos peleando por casi $500,000
We are now fighting for almost $500,000
que se nos debe por parte de los dueños de Chainstar.
that is owed to us by the owners of China Star.
También quiero añadir
I would also like to add
que la compañía Chainstar solo cambió el nombre de sus dueños.
That China Star has now changed the name of their business.
Sí, tienen sus mismos trabajadores
They have the same workers,
y supuestamente cerraron Chainstar por no pagarnos lo que nos debe.
and they have chosen to close China Star just so that they don't have to pay our wages.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. So as you can see, these are just a couple examples of the work that we're doing with Somos. Somos un Pueblo Unido's members have worked hard to pass the law in 2009 and providing additional protection to workers, but there's a lot of work to be done, and we can't do it alone. So we want to thank Interfaith Worker Justice, the City of Santa Fe, and allies all around the state for helping us in support of workers who are trying to recuperate their wages, to better their working conditions, and to make a better work environment for everybody in Santa Fe. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just want to say a little bit more about Interfaith Worker Justice New Mexico. We're an affiliate of the national network Interfaith Worker Justice with headquarters in Chicago. Our founder, Kim Bobo, is the person who identified wage theft as a national epidemic, named it, and literally wrote the book on it, and continues to lobby for federal legislation. But you know, New Mexico doesn't wait for Congress. We have a long history of passing legislation that Congress just can't seem to get done. And so we're very proud that we were one of the first states to pass anti-wage theft legislation in 2009. And we are going to take this campaign statewide. We're kicking it off here in Santa Fe. We have held events, gatherings of faith and community leaders in Los Alamos and Las Vegas. And we have identified leaders in Taos, Gallup, and Ruidoso. And so we're looking forward to the Attorney General really helping to facilitate spreading this campaign throughout the state. I would now invite the press to ask questions of any of our speakers, if you would like to do that.
What exactly does this proposal do?
Do you want to?
From the city point of view, it helps us be a vehicle to publicize and to educate, and then to help inform the Attorney General's office. The AG would be the prime enforcer. I think when you look at enforcement, it's going to be the Federal Department of Labor, the New Mexico Department of Workforce Solutions, and now under the new law, the Attorney General's office. So our resolution at the city is for the city to cooperate with this and to help move this agenda forward. I do want to point out that we had the resolution on the agenda for tonight, but Councilor Wurzberger, who's the chair of our Business and Quality of Life Committee, has asked that it go to Business and Quality of Life. Because I think, as all the speakers have pointed out, it's very important to say this isn't about ethical businesses. This isn't about so many Santa Fe businesses. This is about unethical businesses in Santa Fe. And she thought it was important to get the Business and Quality of Life Committee to review this. So we're going to hold up adoption until December 14th so that BQL has a chance to review and give their suggestions on the campaign.
Do you have any idea how many workers have been affected in the city or across the state, or the county, whatever jurisdiction that you might have those figures, or maybe the dollar amount of wages? I don't know.
Do you want to address that, Marcella?
But as Adma pointed out, this is a crime that is it's one of those crimes that often go most often go unreported, and certainly not prosecuted. I mean, we've never really seen a criminal prosecution of a wage thief. I haven't anyway in New Mexico.
Carlos went through the process of New Mexico Workforce Solutions, got a signed affidavit from his employer that they would pay. Thank you. So Carlos and Manuel are both examples of going through the process that the state has to offer through New Mexico Workforce Solutions. Carlos did get a signed affidavit from his employer that he was going to be paid, repaid $14,000, and to the date he has not been paid. New Mexico Workforce Solutions has not taken them to court, as would be the process. And so now we're looking for alternative processes to kind of get these workers paid, and we have $500,000 worth of recovered wages in the last year, and we're continuing to build.
And that's just here.
And that's just here in Santa Fe.
And that's something that the Attorney General can actually step in and do, and has in some cases, if I'm correct.
I just need to clarify one thing, that what the Attorney General fully supports this effort, but under the law, it is the State Department of Workforce Solutions with the district attorneys around the state that actually has the legal enforcement power. What the Attorney General wants to do is to help facilitate that in any way he can. The new law also provides for private civil actions to be brought. And folks who are workers, who are entitled to judgments, who haven't been paid, can go to court. They can recover not only the lost wages under this law, but they can recover twice the amount of the wages lost, in addition to the amount of the wages. So it ends up being 3 in total. And the attorney who brings the action on behalf of the injured worker is entitled to, under the law, that the attorney's fees shall be paid. So there's an incentive there for providing for enforcement of the law in the private sector as well. And I just wanted to clarify some of those specifics. So it really is through the State Department of Workforce Solutions, through the DA's offices, and through private enforcement, with attorney's fees being provided. And that's a key element to ensure that we have compliance all over the state. Thank you.
Other questions? Let me just say that there is a ripple effect again. It's not only the workers who are losing money, but it's also local government, local and state government, who are not generating the revenue from taxes that they would be. And so it just puts a strain on the whole economy, and we need to be aware of that. Are there any other questions? Anyone who would like to make a statement? Well, I have asked a member of our board of directors, the Reverend Jay Spoonheim, who is with the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, retired, and asked him to just offer a theological statement in closing.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here, Mayor. Why the faith community is fully in support of this. In our Christian scriptures, which I'm sure is shared by all religious traditions, there's a strong, compelling statement that God is concerned for not only people, but for the whole creation, for animals as well. It was reflected in a passage in 1 Timothy where it says, "Do not muzzle the ox while it's treading the grain." Meaning, don't put a muzzle on the ox so you prevent it from eating a little bit of the food it's preparing for you. Take care of all creation. And then it goes on to say in the next statement, the laborer is worthy of his hire, or the worker deserves his pay. Just clear statements of what we're called to believe and to do as people of faith and conscience. And so that's why the faith community is so compelled to be behind this effort. It's carrying out the mandate that God has given us. So thank you for being here, and I know that all people of faith and conviction will be in fully support of this effort.
I think that's it. Thank you again for being here. And a special thank you to our workers for their courage to step forward.